We just ended taping and recording and airing our SatHERday's with Shalimar J on Preach the Word Worldwide Network. Please make sure that you tune in. It airs 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and there's several ways that you can watch the show. You can either download the Preach the Word Worldwide Network app, and you can watch it on your device, be it a tablet or a cellular device. You can do so by downloading the app on Roku. You can watch it on Apple TV. You can go to www.ctwwntv.com and go to the top where there are menu ins, click live TV, and as long as you're there at 9 a.m., you'll be able to watch the show. The show also airs on various cable network channels as well as direct TV and on demand. So reach out to your local cable company and satellite provider and find out what channel Preach the Word Worldwide Network shows and airs on your station and in your city and state and watch us. But anyway, so afterwards, we never get a chance to finish, and it's a good thing, our conversation and testimony sharing on the show Saturdays with Shalimar J because it always gets so good. So now, those of you who are watching hopefully caught the first part of Saturdays with Shalimar J on Preach the Word Worldwide Network. If not, it's okay because I know that what you got is still good. And as my bishop says, you never run out, it just runs in. So she's got more to tell us, I am sure. So, hey, girl.
Hey, girl.
You were talking about mom and you, and you
Yes.
were going somewhere with that. So start where you left off at. I'm listening, and so are others.
Well, my mom God used my mother as a part of my healing narrative, if you will. And so she was helping me to heal from this traumatic health crisis that I had experienced. And I think that, you know, how you get to a place where sometimes um, your freedom, if you will, it seems like everyone's controlling your comings and your goings, and you're not really in control of your life yourself. It seems
Mm-hmm.
like.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that my mom and I, we were tired of each other. I think she was tired of me, and
It happens.
I was tired of being, if you will, displaced because
Okay.
again, I was needing her to help me to heal,
Okay.
and I wanted my life back the way that it was. Now, let me just say this: that I wanted my life back the way that it was, the life that I've been praying that God would change. Now, is that not foolishness? That's when you know
Yeah.
that you need your mind healed.
Yeah.
Um, you need a transformation in your mind.
Yep.
And so she and I, we were talking, and at some point it became heated. The
Mm.
conversation became heated.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember uh, all of whatever was said. The closing statement was, Audra, you're supposed to be more of a Christian than I am. And
Mm.
yet, your faith is less than mine.
My.
You go to church every Sunday, you sing on the choir, and yet your faith in God is less than mine. When I heard that, I was just like, oh no, she did not. I was thinking to myself, like, did she really just say that to me?
Mm-hmm.
And I was hot. I went back to my room because my health crises required that again. My son and I we were displaced from our home and had to move
Mm-hmm.
it with my mother to make sure that I was healing properly. And again, my son was too young, and so again,
Mm-hmm.
we needed to live with my mother. Um, I go back to what has become my room because now I'm living again with my mama.
Yeah.
And I'm thanking God. I want this to be over. I'm sick of it. The devil has used my mother. And when I say to you, God, as clear as I'm speaking to you now, God spoke to me and said, no, The devil had nothing to do with that. That was me.
My.
That was me. I want you to examine your faith.
Mm.
When I say that I was pricked to the heart, if you will,
Mm-hmm.
what else could I say?
Nothing.
Nothing. Nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And I I thought that I had added that into my book because I wanted my mother to be able to read the book and to see how it was that God had used her in that moment, what initially was painful,
Mm-hmm.
to really bring healing to my life. And that's
Mm-hmm.
why I said before that God really, He is a master. He is a master orchestrator. He knows how to do what needs to be done. He knows how to put everything together in its perfect place
And
for
perfect
our
time.
good.
Uh-huh.
For our good. I could not see it then, but
Mm-hmm.
God later brought that to my remembrance. Like, I used your mother to bring you to a place of examining your faith in me. And that was exactly what you needed. It hurt. You didn't like it. And sometimes God does, He moves in mysterious ways. He does things that don't always make sense to us.
Mm-hmm.
And to be quite honest, they don't have to, because He's
Mm-mm.
God. But ultimately in the end, it's for our good and not our harm. He
That's
knows
right.
what's best for us. And it's so interesting that I was blessed to release my first book in February of 2020.
Yeah.
Um, and I released that book in the midst of trauma because the very woman that I wanted to honor in my book, I was now for the second time serving as her caregiver.
Wow.
And literally 3 weeks later, my mother passes away.
My God.
And when I say to you that the pain that I should have felt, don't get me wrong, now listen, the loss of my mother in a season when God is taking me higher, He's
Mm-hmm.
healing me. Literally, when I say to you that a year after He brings healing to my body, we received the first notification that my mother is diagnosed with ovarian cancer.
Gee.
So I'm getting better, healing, getting stronger. And now my mother is sick. And
Mm-hmm.
we think, you know, she goes through her season of healing, and we believe like Lord, we trust you, it's over, it's done. And then right in the midst of sharing with my mom, I'm finished the book, and mom, I'm doing this, and this is happening, that's happening, and she's cheering me on. I received a notification maybe a week before Christmas last year. Well, I should say the year before, in 2019, that her cancer had returned.
Mm.
And my heart just dropped
Yeah.
um, to release the book. And I'm sharing with my mother what God has done. And she's holding the book in her hand in a hospital bed. And I bring that up because had God not did what He
Oh,
did in my life
I'm sorry. I'm getting excited.
3 years prior to, I
Mm-hmm.
would not have handled her illness and her death with, I believe, and I don't say this arrogantly, I'm saying this speaking of God and His strength, His power that worked in me. I
Mm-hmm.
would not have been able to handle her passing with, I believe, the grace that God gave me uh, in that season, in a season I'm still in, because that's very much still new, that's still
Mm-hmm.
fresh.
Mm-hmm.
But yet I'm able to speak well of God and to give him praise that though I did not like it, I want my mama to still be here.
Right.
But I'm able to speak well of him and to understand that though I don't like it, it wasn't to harm me. His plans for me are greater than anything that I could ever come up with. And though I don't understand all of the whys just yet, if it be his will, he'll make it plain.
And you know
Why?
what I hear too with you sharing that story, and thank you. He allowed for her to be strong enough to help you get strong,
Hmm.
and then reversed it because he knew that she would need you.
Yes.
And so he allowed you to gain your strength, to
Yes.
regain strength,
Yes. Yes.
to help her. And
Yes.
then he didn't allow her to depart without her seeing the manifestation of the good
Yes.
thing.
Yes. Yes.
And she was able to touch something tangible.
Yes.
God is, girl, yeah, go ahead. My God.
So I'm grateful for that. I mean, again, I would be a liar if I didn't say that I miss my mom. I want her here. I had plans. I wanted um, to turn to give to my mom, to take care of her, to set
Hmm.
her up, to take care of her. She had been taking care of me for however long, making sacrifices. I wanted to, if you will, to take care of her, to give to her, to spoil her, to
Makes sense.
bless her.
Hmm.
And God, that's what I kept seeing. And I when I came to the realization that God was doing a great work in me when I was able to stop praying, God, um, keep her here, give her more time with us. But when I was finally able to pray, God, I want her here. I want more time with her. I want to be able to us to do trips and shop and go out and eat and this and that and the other. But God, ultimately in the end, I trust you.
Hmm.
And I say to you with all sincerity, God, not my will, but yours be done. When I was able to say that, that's when I knew for sure, like,
Hmm.
yeah, yeah. God is transforming me. He's healing me. He's
Isn't that a
healing.
beautiful thing
He's healing me.
and a beautiful feeling? It's no
Absolutely.
feeling. It's almost indescribable. You know, it's just you can tell a person God has transformed me. They can see your excitement, maybe even feel it, but you don't really feel it. Words can't explain enough when you finally have that aha moment in God, or the light bulb, as they say, finally click, and you are transformed or in the process of
Hmm.
transforming. Oh my
Absolutely.
Lord, is nothing like it. It's
And
nothing like it.
Shalimar, may I just say that when we were during our previous segment,
Hmm.
you were making reference to some of the um, um, results or after effects of stroke,
Hmm.
and how looking visually, you don't see anything. To be quite honest, I'm able to walk, I'm able to talk. Um, and yet there are all of these, if you will, all of these shorts or all of these
Hmm.
challenges, and yet God, in the midst of it all, he's still using me. He's still using me, and I believe um, getting the glory out of my life,
Hmm.
because I finally had enough sense to say, God, you know what? Not my will, but yours be done. I don't understand. I don't. I would love it if you gave me a clear cut what's
Right.
going to happen from point A to point B. But God, though I don't have that, I don't know how all of this is going to unfold. But God, I trust you. You brought me this far. I trust you. I don't know how it's going to turn out, but God, I trust you. Just ultimately, in the end, my prayer is that you would be glorified. Use me however you see fit. That as I share my story, as I share what you've done, because it has nothing to do about Audrey. It has everything to do
Everything.
with the fact of who he is and what he's done in my life. It's so interesting to me how Shalimar, in the last um, year or more, I keep receiving all of these comments and inboxes and text messages of persons sharing how they see and hear that I am in a place of joy.
Mm,
Like they see it, they hear it, they feel it, that I'm changed, that I'm transformed, that God is doing a work in me. No one ever said that to
wow.
me before. Never said about the fact that they felt and could see the joy. Like that it wasn't me, because I hate to say this, but when you grow up in church, you learn how to put on the church face.
Master. Mm-hmm.
You know how to mask your pain.
Uh-huh.
But that what they see, the smile, is real. It's not that I'm putting on a show. It's not that I'm hiding pain, underneath. It's
Mm-hmm.
God is moving. God is speaking, and um, I am in a place of, as you said, uh, a place not just of joy but of peace.
Mm,
Wanting to be, for years, have been praying for God. I just want to know your peace,
mm.
and now I'm here, and it is so exhilarating. I realize more and more and more, like I smile so much more now, and it's like because I really am happy. Like,
Mm-hmm.
God, you are moving in my life. I feel you, and I want more of you. And I believe that um, this is where God wants us to be, um, moving forward and feeling Him and moving forward to do what He has
Mission.
intended all along for us to do, to fulfill purpose
Yeah.
for His glory. And I'm
Mm.
excited about that. I really am. I'm excited.
One word that you said, Audra, that is so profound, and it's simple. Once you get it, trust.
Hmm.
It's hard for people to get to that place, but once you get there, it's
Hmm.
simple. And when and this is just, and I'm sure you can attest to this, when the test or the trial or the moment, the circumstance, the situation isn't that hard, it's easy to trust. Okay, Lord, you got this. But when it gets real tough, it's not always that easy. But what I have learned is that it's important to reflect on the moments past when God did a thing that seemed
Hmm.
impossible. Because in the
Absolutely.
next moment of the it seems impossible, you can be reminded that it is possible through Him.
Absolutely.
And it's so much, and sometimes for me, and I'm not perfect, I still have to remind myself, girl, trust Him, have faith. And then after I go through all, like, I went through all of that, yes, because He had me anyway. Why did I even stress? Why did I even put myself under all of that pain? Because some of this stuff is self-inflicted. If
Absolutely.
we really just lay it at the altar, we leave it at Him, we lay before Him, we cry out to Him and say, God, I leave this to you.
Hmm.
If we put, the battle is not yours, it's the Lord's. This is true. Some people, they don't want to hear that. Okay, if we just be real, we're
Hmm.
human.
Right.
Everybody says that. I need to hear something that not everybody else is saying. I don't want to just get the textbook remedy to my problem. Just tell me what everybody else is telling everybody else, and I'm supposed to say,
Hmm.
oh, okay. Even though it's true, it's His
Hmm.
battle.
Hmm.
But for some people who aren't there yet, they just need to understand that all you got to do, that all that stuff you're feeling, if you got to scream it out, scream it out.
Hmm.
If you got to punch the floor. If you got to cry till your head hurts, cry out to Him. And then it's really a matter, as like you said, Audra, trust.
Mhm.
Trust is going to work out. Even if it isn't until 10 years later,
Mhm.
you just got to trust and believe that God knows what he's doing. And at the end, that expected end, at the end, it's working out for my good. And if we just get out of God's way and start trying to figure out when the end is, I want the end to be tomorrow. God says not so. Your end is not tomorrow, baby. Your end is next year. Your
Mhm.
end, he's not going to tell us, some things, depends on what the situation is and what God is doing with you. He may say to you, okay, this is it. Tomorrow, this is it. And when he says that, okay, that's what it is. But it
Mhm.
won't always be that way. And we have to be able to accept the times and moments when we don't know when the end will be. That's where the trust comes in.
Mhm.
That's where the faith comes in. And you got to stay in your word so that you can always trust him and so that
And,
you can believe him.
and may I just say that it's also a thing of trusting him to know that his love for us is greater than um, any tantrum that we could throw. I love how you were sharing about us being honest with him, going to him and sharing with him where we are. That was something that God brought me to during my healing immediately after my stroke, of saying to me, okay, you're mad with me. You're upset with me. Um, you need to get it out, and I can handle it. The
Mm,
question
mm,
is, can you?
mm,
You need to release whatever you want to say, whatever you want to do out of your frustration as to where I have you presently in your life. Let it out. And I literally, when I say to you, I had me a tirade with God. I mean, I carried on. I
mm,
fussed and carried on because I wanted to get it out. I was
mm,
angry. I was hurt. And it's so interesting that after my mom had passed, maybe like a week or two later, right before the pandemic hit,
mm,
um, I don't know, I was having a moment, and um, I was trying to be strong, I think.
mm,
And God brought that experience back to me. He was like, whatever you want to do, fuss, cuss, whatever you want to do, I can
mm,
handle it. You're angry with me because I took your mother. You love me. You trust me. You're not in the same place that you were before, but you are still angry. And until you release that pain, that anger with me,
mm,
I can't do the healing. I can't bring forth the healing that I already intended for you. So you
mm,
got to release it. You got to release it. And part of what I believe God has given me to share is that it's okay. God can handle our anger. He can handle our fits and temper tantrums and carrying on. He can handle it. He wants us to release the pain to make room for space for Him to minister to us in a way that no human can, no substance can. Nothing can minister to us and bring forth healing to us the way that He can, as He loves on us and reminds us of the fact that no matter what you're going through,
mm,
I'm there. I'm here with you. I'm in it to win it with you. But you got to let me in. You got to let me minister to you. You got to let me love on you and receive it. And so I just that as you were sharing that came to mind. That we've got to learn to trust God enough, even that trust His love for us, that it's okay.
mm,
He already knows what we feel. He already knows what we're thinking. He already knows the pains that we bear.
mm,
But to be honest enough and to say, God, listen, I don't like what you did. I don't like how this
mm.
turned out. And yet I trust you. Yet I
That's
love you.
right.
Yet I
And
know that
even
you
our
love me.
mistakes, he still loves us.
Still love
You
you.
know, we can do something just outright foolish, wrong,
Mm-hmm.
and he still loves us. He will still be there for us. And I don't think it can be said ever enough or too much. God loves us.
Yeah.
Trust him. Have faith in
Unconditional.
him. And I think about the Big Bang Theory. I had a conversation, I don't recall who it was with, a couple days ago. They were talking about evolution and, all of that. And it's just some stuff. And I mean, I hear it. The scientists have their thing or whatever. Okay, fine.
Hmm.
Let's just say this is not truth. Let me put that out there. But let's just say I believe that there could have been this whole Big Bang. Boom, bam, boom. There we go, right?
Hmm.
But then there are some things that are just unexplainable.
Unexplained.
There were moments in time when I felt something that had nothing to do with a big or a bang or a theory. It had to be. And I know now that God did, and it's just so amazing how he does things. Back when I was 12 years old, my father, who, my mother and my father divorced when I was young. My dad was strung out on probably every drug you can think of, and the list goes on of things that he had going on. He finally gotten to a place where he really, really was seeking God, and he
Hmm.
asked me to come with him when I was at my grandmother's house visiting,
Hmm.
and for I to come to this church. There was a woman who had a church at her house um, that he joined or whatever. So we went just so because we wanted to support him.
Hmm.
And I didn't know what to expect or whatever. And I get there. Long story short, I go to the altar after my father had gone, and I will never forget this ever in my life. The pastor said, "Are you ready?" I heard her with my physical ear
Hmm.
say that, but there was something inside of me. Then I didn't quite understand it. So this was my description, the younger version of me, that I
Hmm.
felt like I heard it in here. And before I knew it, I said yes. And she tapped my forehead, and all I remember was doing this.
Hmm.
And I heard her at one point in time say, it was like an out of body experience. I wanted to get up, but I couldn't get
Hmm.
up.
Hmm.
And I heard her say, leave her there. God's not done with her yet.
Hmm.
And as I grew closer to God, as the years progressed, he would remind me of that moment. You didn't
Hmm.
expect that. That wasn't rehearsed. You didn't even know what was going to happen.
Hmm.
I am God. That was me. What was it that she was asking you that you were ready for? You'll see that as time goes on.
Hmm. Absolutely.
And then I had other experiences. And then, his presence is unexplainable. The peace of God that came over me that I told you about earlier today. That's not no doggone spark that came from the explosion. Come on now. So I just think about sometimes how you just gotta really trust and believe that he exists.
Hmm.
The existence of him is a part of the trust piece.
Absolutely. Hmm.
And if you have, and I'm saying this to whoever's watching, if you're having trouble, think about the unexplainable stuff. Think about, Audra, she told you it was a whole heap of things. I'm saying it like the country girl, a whole heap of things.
Absolutely.
You know, he has had a stroke, y'all. But look at her. That's the unexplainable stuff. When money comes that you weren't expecting, when the lights should have been turned off, but they weren't, when you got the promotion and you were like, what? How? The unexplainable. That's God. So if you just draw your mind to the unexplainable moments and use that as a part of what helps push you into believing in his existence, oh my God, the places you'll go from there will be unexplainable.
Absolutely.
You'll have a moment like Audra where she can share testimony on top of testimony on top of testimony and be able to identify that it was only God. To be able to tell you that the release was paramount in her deliverance, and her
Absolutely.
deliverance in two ways. The deliverance meaning the releasing and the removing of whatever was holding her bound, And then the deliverance in the way that she delivers the word of God. So the deliverance is a twofold thing. You deliver the word, you deliver information, you deliver your testimony, and then you are delivered from the things that keep you bound. If you just believe in his existence, everything else will come into place. To God be the glory. Now look,
Absolutely.
Audra, I would sit here with you for another 30, 45 minutes, an hour or two, honestly. Um, let me tell you one little thing about me. I rock when I'm trying to hold myself together. So I'm like, yeah, oh goodness. I say this and put this little disclaimer out there. I forgot to do it. I'm not crazy. The lady is, what is wrong with her? She's rocking. It's God, y'all. And I feel like this bubble that just wants to explode, but I'm trying to keep it in because he's just so good. And the mere fact,
Absolutely.
Audra and I never met before today. And look at God. I get excited every time I am allowed, because he allows it to happen, to be in the presence of another person that God has done the miraculous thing for. Another person that God is allowing to breathe another breath. Every life is a miracle. You
Yes.
may not
Yes.
have an I had a stroke story. I was paralyzed. You may not have an I was paralyzed story. But everybody's got a story of his goodness. So don't compare stories. Don't compare testimonies. Don't even put your story on a level.
Right. Right.
Just look at God and say, God, I thank you because you're worthy. Because you did what you did and you are still doing it.
Right.
I thank you. He'll allow us only to go through the things that we can. Everybody can't do and go through what Audra has gone through. And then having to deal with the passing of her mother in the way that she has. Everybody can't do it. But God knew she could. Trust him. You look at Audra, that's what trust looks like. That's what faith looks like. That's what believing in his existence looks like, guys. You want to hear more of her story? You should. You want to know how you can? Buy the book. Where do you go? I got that for you. It's right there on the screen. Go to
Oh God.
www.audralhill.com. You can follow her on Facebook at Audra L. Hill. She's even on Instagram at Audra L. Hill. Remember the name, Audra L. Hill. All right? It's simple. She's going to even autograph the book for you all. Put her little signature up on that thing so you can use it and put it up because it's going to be worth a whole lot. Yes, ma'am. I'm declaring and
I
decreeing
received
it.
that. I
That
received that.
signature is
I
going to be worth
received
a
that.
lot. But the words in the book
Um,
are worth even more because it's showing and sharing God's testimony that he's given her. So that in itself is, you can't pay enough for that. I'll put it that way. But if you desire to just get it, and you don't necessarily want an autograph book, and that's fine. You can purchase it on Amazon. Go there and purchase the book. What is the title of the book again, Audra?
from trauma to transformation, all things new.
From trauma to transformation, all things new. I'm
Things
going to
new.
put a spotlight on you so you can get a closer look of the book. Oh, there it is. Audra Hill, y'all. Author, empowerer, encourager, lover of Christ, mother, survivor, entrepreneur. I mean, I can go on and on, y'all, with the list of adjectives that I have gathered just by meeting her on today and talking to her on today. I thank God for you. And as I
Thank
said
you.
earlier, this first segment, I'll say again, I honor you
Thank you.
as a foundational woman, not because it is moment appropriate, though it is, but it's because that is who you are. You are doing some things that people didn't have courage to do. And I hope and pray for someone that is watching who felt like they couldn't because they have now seen that you has the push to go ahead and do it. All right, guys,
Thank
please
you.
make sure that if you have not, that you do begin watching SatHERday's with Shalimar J. We are on Preach the Word Worldwide Network. Preach the Word Worldwide Network. You can find it on local television as well as cable, direct TV, and on demand. Just reach out to your local provider for television service as well as satellite service to find out what that channel is. You can go on and download the app to your mobile device or tablet. Preach the Word Worldwide Network. You can even download the app on Roku. You are also able to watch it on Apple TV as well as the website, www.ptwwntv.com. You simply go to the top where the menu is, click Live TV, and as long as you're there at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, you'll be able to catch SatHERday's with Shalimar J. Those of you who have already been watching, I thank you and continue watching the show. And as I say often, if not always, your scars are beautiful. Why? Because they are your testimony. To God be the glory. And until next time, girl, embrace it. Thank you, Audra. I
Thank
appreciate you
you.
so, so,
Thank
so
you.
much. You all
Thank
have
you.
a wonderful day. Bye,
Bye.
guys.